Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. This is the Finch Show, and I am James Finch. We are talking 3D printing, cosplaying, all things nerdy and rad. Guest on this episode of the podcast is Stefania Sassano. You have to look her up. Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. She does so many great things. She's a cosplayer, she's a Twitch streamer, and just an awesome human being. We had a great conversation. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Stefania. Okay. Have to know. So you said you finished Obi-Wan.
Yes, I did.
What did you think of that finale?
Oh my God. I just go back to the fight scene with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. And I love how they mirrored the scene with Ahsoka and Darth Vader with the slashed mask. And I noticed people were talking about it like on TikTok. When Darth Vader goes from Anakin to Darth Vader, the color changes from the lightsaber on his face from like blue to red. I thought that was really, really cool to point out.
Yes.
I also noticed how the Sith eyes, they were like normal, it was Anakin, and then they slowly transitioned back into Sith eyes, which is really cool. And someone said that was the second time that Obi-Wan saw his eyes go from Anakin to Sith, which is so sad. Oh my God. Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen, they did such a fantastic job.
They did. And that was between the changing of the lightsaber and the eyes. That was like such a subtle way to show the inner conflict that he was going through, The thing that I thought was really cool, at least that stuck out to me, is that when you watch Return of the Jedi, right? And Vader or Anakin takes off his helmet at the end because he wants to see Luke. He's got this big gash on the top of his head that he did not get in episode 3. I mean, he got burned pretty good. But then watching that finale, you're like, oh, that's where that came from. Obi-Wan gave it to him, because for so long, you just kind of assumed that from the end of episode 3, Obi-Wan didn't see him again until, A New Hope. But then you're like, oh, but yeah, I thought it was insane. What do you think of the show overall?
I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people were very iffy about it, and there's some people saying like, oh, we should have like flashbacks from Clone Wars, whatever. We did get a flashback, which was really cool. I love to see that, especially in that episode where you got to see the difference, comparison. It kind of like paralleled their fight from then to now, how Anakin has always been. I overall enjoyed the show. I think my favorites throughout the show were Reva and Darth Vader. Darth Vader, it really made me love the character even more.
Right. He's such a fun character. And the great thing about it is that if you go back, because I'm like old enough that I want to say episode 1 came out and I was like 18, 19. Right. So for my whole trilogy or my whole life, it was just the original trilogy. Like that's all we got. And even then you don't see Vader until the very end of the prequel trilogy in episode 3. So we went like years of Vader being like a badass, but it was just through like presentation and intimidation. Yeah. It wasn't until like Rogue One and like this show that we get to see him go like full Sith Lord and like go ham on people. And it's been awesome to see.
I think the scariest thing I saw from him was he literally like snapped a kid's neck.
Yeah.
That was so gruesome. I really enjoyed seeing this side of him where, this brutal side of him. He wanted to burn Obi-Wan. Like that was horrifying. Just that whole sequence when he got to the town.
Yeah. Vader is not just a genocidal maniac. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's just like nobody even in that village was even threatening him, and he's just like, I'm gonna snap your neck, I'm gonna drag you here. And then took Obi-Wan to the full like grill master special. Just started dragging him through the coals. It was like, oh yeah, I think he's got some issues. I think he's got some stuff to work through. Yeah, and Reva. Oh, I loved Reva.
I loved her.
so
Yeah.
much. I think it has to be noted, like, I don't know about you. I was like disgusted by some of the online hate she
Oh
was getting. I'm like, dude, back
yeah.
off. Like, you know, but Star Wars fans, unfortunately, there are some of them that can be that way.
Mm-hmm.
The thing people have to keep in mind, the actor doesn't write the script.
Oh,
So
of
if
course.
you don't like the show, don't blame the actor. They're a young actor coming up and somebody says, hey, do you want a part in Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of
Of course,
course.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't even care what I'd be playing. I'd instantly sign on if it means I was going to be in a Star Wars movie or show.
Right. Yeah. How could you ever turn that down? 100% you're going to do it
Exactly.
for
That's
sure.
just like saying, like, I'm a huge Marvel fan. So it's just like saying, like, that's the same thing. I would
Yeah.
just literally not say no.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you couldn't. And I love the switch with her character where all of a sudden she was
Yeah.
like, oh, she wasn't like a Sith Lord wannabe. No, she was straight up doing all this just to get close to Vader to get revenge,
Mm-hmm.
which might be one of the most Sith things ever. But
Yeah.
then it was the same thing with Vader. We got to see that conflict within her as to why she was doing what she was doing and what kind of person she was going to become.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoy the character. She actually went to Yale. She
Oh,
studied
really?
there. And I live in Connecticut, so it's like close to me. I really actually wanted to go to Yale for drama. I was thinking about it for a bit, but I was like, too expensive, way too expensive. But yeah, some great people come out of there, and she's one of them. I'm really happy for her, and I hope we see more of her. Like I said, Riva's become my favorite character, and people bullying a child and racist comments on a great actor. Literally, if you don't like the show, just don't watch it.
Right.
Just don't watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason to make someone's life miserable
Yeah.
because you don't like a TV show. That's like such bad vibes. Like there's nothing good comes of that. You're never going to accomplish anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I don't want to say baby, little girl Leia stole that show.
Oh,
Like
yes,
just
she did.
grabbed it and ran off with it, you know?
Uh-huh. I knew from the beginning, I was like, Carrie Fisher would be so proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
So proud. And
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher actually had a parrot or a bird named Lola.
Oh,
And
really?
I think that's what I read. And they named the droid, little droid she has, Lola. So
I didn't know that.
yeah.
That is so cool.
That's what I read about or heard. I thought that was really cool. It's a little homage to her. And also I love the outfits, her outfits, because they reflect on Leia in the original trilogy. You also see like some parts of Padme, which is awesome. So I love to see that. I love to see the connection. I'm glad. I know like a few years back, Star Wars wasn't doing that great with the sequel trilogy. I'm just glad that they're like coming together now and making the connections, and it's turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah. And I love the way they didn't make her just a scared little girl caught up in all this. Like she had some
Yeah.
attitude. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah, just like you were saying, you could see the threads of both Padme and Leia there. It was really extremely well done.
I love the relationship she has with Obi-Wan. I love it. It really connects to A New Hope when she's seeking him out, finding help. It just comes full circle at this point, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, and it gives more weight to the scene in the Death Star when Luke goes in and gets Leia out of the holding cell and says, I'm here with Ben Kenobi. And the look on her face is, what? He's here? Well, now that you've seen Kenobi, that gives so much more gravity to that scene and to that line that like there's all this past history rather than just somebody she heard of who might live on Tatooine that she's going to send a message to, that there's, you know, actual real gravity to that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that when they were doing this original trilogy, they didn't think that shows like this would come out of it and they would make it connect in a way where it just makes sense. It kind of like bleeds through and it just fits perfectly. You wouldn't think that. Like George Lucas didn't think that this is going to be like where it is today, you know?
Yeah, I wonder how he feels sitting there watching this stuff. Like for him, because
Yeah.
I don't even know. That'd be interesting to see or know if he has any kind of like, I don't even want to say control, but even any kind of like creator input throughout the process of these things. If like producers are talking to him, or you know, or if he just flat out, just like you and me, just has to sit down on his couch and turn it on and see what's happening. Because that'd be interesting to be in the room when some of that goes, you know, for sure.
A part of me like hopes that he has some part of it, or at least, you know, they're checking in with him because he's the one that started this all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to go back to the grandfather of a series or a
yes.
Yeah,
definitely. Moving on from that, as I glance through your Instagram account, I have to ask, have you ever heard of the X-Men?
It kind of rings a bell. I may have a few things that are from X-Men.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
I've heard of them
because I thought maybe like, dude, it'll blow your mind when you see who the X-Men are. But to those who are listening and or watching or don't know, cosplay wise, as somebody who is a lifelong X-Men nerd, it's really awesome to see. What I guess the best way to ask is, where did all of that kind of begin for you?
Right. So, every person who's in college, they always go through this like crazy breakdown, right? At least one person goes through a breakdown in college. So it was senior year and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do after I graduate. I studied film. I did theater. I enjoyed really halfway through college. I started to move closer to theater because I love performing. I always have, but I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm stressing out. I really love Marvel. I really love the X-Men. I really want to do something with it. And I kind of started cosplaying. I've always loved dressing up. My first cosplay was actually this Loki helmet that I made in October of 2020. Yeah, 2020. And I was like, that could actually be a thing. So fast forward to May of 2021, I was like, all right, I love this character. I love dressing up. I'm going to try a video out. Why not? And it got some pretty good reviews. And I was like, maybe this could be a thing. But my love for the character actually comes from, I want to say it was like a few years ago, maybe a little more. I created this character in my head that could absorb powers from other superheroes. And it was only absorption. And she would keep it permanently. I kind of made her OP. I never gave her a name, though. I'm not really good with names. I'm good with like creating a character. Names, horrible at. Mm-hmm. But she was always in my mind. And I was like, this is a really cool character. She stole the powers of Thor. She's the goddess of thunder. And then fast forward, and I was doing some research on Marvel characters, like women characters. When I wanted to like cosplay and stuff, who could I do? And I came upon Rogue, and I was like, oh, she's a pretty cool character. I read her description, and I was like, that's the character that was in my head. She has a name now. So I don't want to brag, but I kind of made Rogue up without doing the work. So yeah, from there on, I started to read about the character, read the comics. Instantly loved her. I love that she's a Southern belle. She has this like little bit of sass and charmness to her, but she always is up for a good fight. She has this really strong will about her. She's always very passionate about her fights and everything she gets into, which I really love. I love to reflect on that character and kind of see a part of her in me as well. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, there's something really awesome about a character, especially a female character, in a Southern voice saying "bless your heart" while she's knocking your teeth in.
Yes.
that's just kind of cool. What was it that first got you into Marvel?
My siblings, actually. So I don't remember the first Marvel movie, if you want to go way back, was Spider-Man. That was the first Marvel movie that I saw. So Tobey Maguire is my favorite Spider-Man, even though I love them in like their own way and their own movies. I really enjoy Andrew Garfield as well, but Tobey Maguire is my favorite. That's the first Marvel movie I saw. And then I want to say in high school, it was where I got into the MCU. But yeah, it was really my siblings they're older than me. I'm the youngest, that got me into watching these movies. Mm-hmm. Cool. So we always go see them together.
Yeah, you have to do that. And talking about your Rogue cosplay, I love the way it's not just like made a Rogue outfit and that's what you go with. Like mm-hmm. You've done several variants, which is really cool. Of course, I'm always a fan of like what they call like the 92 X-Men, where it's like the jumpsuit and then the leather flight jacket, because to me that's just like classic Rogue. What do you I guess what to do, what's your process for deciding like which version of Rogue you want to do and then how you approach it?
So I was reading the comics one day, and it got to the Extreme X-Men run, and I want to say that was the third version that I wanted to do, because the second version I did was X-Men Evolution. I had watched the animated series, I'd watched X-Men Evolution before starting to read the comics, I believe. And so I basically just watch or read, and I find the design that I really enjoy most, and or the design that's like easy to pull off right away if I want to. And I just hop into it. So it's, Amazon is your friend. With the X-Men Evolution cosplay, I had like a few things, but the rest was like on Amazon. It was pretty easy to find, which I was surprised about. But for some cosplays, like Extreme X-Men, where she has the red jumpsuit, I some things I had to do on my own, where it's like paint something or that matter of fact. I actually made the bone claws. She has like bone claws because that was the run where she could like recall any power that she'd absorb. One of them being Wolverine's, and she had the bone claws. And I actually made those out of clay. Oh, so nice. I bought Wolverine claws as like the base, and then I just clayed around them to make it look bone. But yeah, so it's just whatever catches my eye. I know the Age of Apocalypse outfit, a lot of people were like, I should do. I'm trying to get into sewing more. I've sewed a bit, but I'm not the greatest at it. So the Age of Apocalypse one is going to be a bit.
Yeah, that's a bit more of a complex one.
Oh yeah,
for sure. It looks amazing.
It does.
The other one was the and I don't see, the problem is when it comes to Rogue, I don't remember the names, of the costumes, but I remember like mid 2000s where she had like the green outfit with like just the white stripe down the middle and then almost had a cloak over that. I always really loved that one. And that was in a period where I've been out of reading comics, I want to say, for close to 10 years. And when I left off, and with X-Men, it's always miss a lot. When I had left off is when she was still in like the classic, with the big poofy hair and the, like I said, the brown leather jacket. And then I come back, she's dressed completely different, has more of a crop cut, which I think probably came from the X-Men Evolution, that sort of style haircut. But yeah, that's it. She's such a phenomenal character. We talked about that. What you've done several others. You're not like a one trick pony. When it comes to cosplay. I enjoyed the was that X-23 you did?
Yeah,
I see that. Yeah, she's like one of my favorite characters as well. That what do you know a lot about? What got you into that character?
I just wanted to venture out with other X-Men, experiment with others, and I didn't really know much about X-23. I just knew that she took on the mantle of Wolverine, and I really want to get the cowl for her too, which it's pretty cool. But the first time I actually showed that cosplay was at Rhode Island Comic-Con last year, I want to say. Yeah, last year. And I know a lot of people really love to see that, but X-23 was one of those where I was like, she's young. I have like similar hair color to her, easier to pull off than like others, I would say. So I found the suit, I bought it, and bought the claws with it. And I just was like, this is something simple, but effective. X-23 is a really cool character, and I mostly know her from Logan. So I haven't read much about her. I just know that she's a really cool character, and she's like a spawn of Wolverine. So I want to venture off with her more. Maybe like her black outfit too. I really enjoy. I just really love her Wolverine outfit. The colors, it's the colors that get me.
Yeah, I've got her up right there on the shoulder.
Oh, I see her.
Yeah. That big, huge, gigantic, like 16-inch tall statue. Yeah, she's a fun character, great character. I don't know if it's changed, so I haven't read comics much in the last couple of years, but for a long time she had this weird, like, people would assume that she had like a father-daughter relationship with Wolverine, and very much not. Like she's very much convinced, at least at the time when I was reading, that if anybody was going to kill Logan, it was going to be her, because they were both good guys and they're both on that side. But ultimately, there was a ton of resentment there, which is like, I could launch into a whole nother nerd podcast about that in and of itself. And she's also one of those characters who has a ton of different outfits. Like when she first showed up, it was just like she would just be like jeans and a tank top, and then it evolved into the black, and then into like the modern, like kind of like the way you cosplayed, is that like the basically looks like the Wolverine costume, but for her. And yeah, the cowl would be cool. I've wondered that for a long time. I've seen so many people cosplay as Wolverine, and I feel like the cowl is always a tricky part, because if you do it and you do it right, it looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen some really, really cool ones. I keep debating whether to do it myself, except for the fact that I would never, because I could never cosplay as Wolverine. Even though like lifelong, he's like one of my favorite characters. I mean, I've said this on the podcast before. My youngest son is named Logan. So clearly,
really?
clearly I'm a fan of the character. Excuse me. In the most recent one that you've done, that I've seen you posted on Instagram, for those who know, because it was just, of course, I know this is coming out, but Doctor Strange 2 just came out on Disney Plus. Clea,
yeah,
what got you to that one?
So I was always wondering when this character was going to show up into the MCU, because we got Doctor Strange and I knew Clea was the wife of Doctor Strange, their close relationship. I was like, when are we going to get her? And then you got the Dark Dimension in the first Doctor Strange, and she is the Sorcerer Supreme of that one. And when she finally showed up in the post-credit scene of the second one, I'm pretty sure I was the only person in the theater that gasped. I like started hitting my brother, and I was like, oh my God. And he was like, who is that? I was like, you don't know who that is? I instantly knew as soon as she came up. Also, perfect casting, I want to say. Charlize Theron, I really love her as an actor. She's fabulous. And I'm glad they chose her to play Clea. And then I saw her costume and I was like, I need that cosplay because it's such a cool costume. As soon as it came out, I was like, instant buy.
Yeah, and it looks amazing. It looks great. And that was the fun thing about the MCU, that they can have somebody like Charlize Theron playing a part like that in a cameo in a movie and keep it completely under wraps, so that it's just like this nice little present waiting for you at the end of the movie. You're like, no way, because that's the funny thing about the MCU post credit scene. Some of them are like total jaw droppers, and some of them you're kind of like, okay, But that one I remember in the theater, and I don't know a ton about her, but I did at least know her name. So when I saw it in the theater, it was like, oh, okay. So they don't plan on resting with their laurels when it comes to Doctor Strange, because clearly they have much, because you don't bring somebody that caliber of actor in to make a cameo like that if you don't plan on doing big things with it.
Oh, exactly. I'm so excited to see what they do. I also thought, I was like, does this mean Doctor Strange is going to die?
Yeah.
Because, he did in the comics. She became the Sorcerer Supreme. So it makes me wonder, but I hope they use her in the long run very much, because one, great actor, big actor, and two, great character that you can do a lot of stuff with. I mean, she is the niece of Dormammu.
Yeah.
like how crazy can you get,
Yeah, you could bring that whole, God. And then your mind just goes like crazy with like the 5,000 different ways storyline wise that whole thing could go. And I kind of wondered in Doctor Strange 2 if he was going to still be with us as a character by the end of that movie, because it seemed like they're slowly sort of like, and it sort of felt like they brought America Gomez in to sort of, potentially, introduce her as a new character, and then maybe, kind of help with a lot of other people sort of be the next generation of the MCU. But no, clearly they've got plans for Doctor Strange. So, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally game with that. How often do you make it to cons?
I try to go to ones that I'll have a lot more stuff to do, like bigger cons, I would say, and a lot more people I can meet as well. So my first con was Terrificon, I went last year. I think it was in July. It's same this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to go this year. I'm kind of debating on it because I'm going to New York Comic Con. It's a lot of money. So we'll see. But I try to go to like Rhode Island Comic Con. I want to go to Boston Fan Expo. I try to hit the big cons. I really one day want to go to San Diego Comic Con. I know they're doing an X-Men panel there, and Lenore Zan's going to be there. Oh my God. When I found that out, I was like, somebody get me a ticket. Like, I will pay for the flight. I have family there I can stay with. Just somebody get me a ticket.
Yeah.
But this year I'm going to New York Comic Con. It's my first time going, and I'm very, very excited. All 4 days. So I have some cosplays planned out. Some are not confirmed yet. Just depends on what else I come up with and the time span that I have. But I'm going to try and hit up Rhode Island Comic Con again this year and hopefully Boston Fan Expo. So we'll see. Usually a lot of cons happen on the East Coast, more so in the summer into fall time. Rarely do I see like spring ones. If I do, they're like not as crazy. But yeah, the big ones I'm trying to go to.
Mm-hmm. A lot of when's New York Comic Con?
October 6th to the 9th, I want to say. 6th to the 9th, yeah.
Okay. We're right now here. I live a couple hours outside Chicago. Right now we're gearing up for C2E2 first week of August, which is like one of the big ones. And then for my first time in my life, I'm so excited. I'm going to WonderCon next March.
Really?
Yeah, that one I'm super excited for. It's almost like too early to be excited about it because it's months away. Like we got. When
do tickets go on sale?
I don't know. I should probably look into that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I definitely would buy tickets for WonderCon and then just like figure out flight later.
Yeah, that's exactly what I plan on doing. I'm going to figure out hotel and flights and all that stuff later. Initially, it's just make sure you got the ability to get in the door. So yeah, I should probably get on that. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. What do you like about going to cons?
I love meeting people. I know. So I try and do Rogue on Saturday because Saturday is the biggest day for people. And I just love going around and meeting people. Rogue is very popular at cons. She is, I've noticed, especially because like usually it's only me as Rogue. I rarely see anybody else. But she's very popular and I love taking pictures of people and meeting people. I've actually met a few people who follow me on TikTok. This was last year at a con. I met them. And it's cool meeting them. I love going to panels. I saw Scream Boys, what's his name? Matthew Lillard and Ski Ulrich. I saw them last year at Rhode Island Comic Con. They're such a great duo. Such a great duo. So funny. But I love the panels. I love the atmosphere, the cosplays, the cosplay contest. Crazy. The stuff that people do and the time that they have to do it, details. It's awesome. I just love going to a place where I can share all this stuff with other people. I find like a new home at cons. And I definitely want to do like an X-Men meetup for New York Comic Con.
That would
definitely
be cool.
Plan on it. Yeah.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that the first, I want to say the first con that I went to was probably like around 2005. And cosplay back then was very different. And I'm not hating on people back then, but back then, you couldn't go to Amazon and buy a suit. There weren't a lot of places that were making those. So you had to like make everything. 3D printing didn't exist yet, which has slowly become a bigger and bigger component of cosplay. But walking around a con now and the stuff that people cosplay is like movie quality. Like it's mind blowing the stuff that people come up with. I can't go on about it enough. And even cons aside, I'm sure you see this. Scrolling through Instagram, like every day my mind is blown by something I see. Like, oh my God, that is just like absolutely amazing.
I want to get a 3D printer eventually because I know that'll be very helpful with stuff that I want to do. Like I have this mindset where I want to do big, crazy things, but then I'm like, you can do with EVA foam. It just takes a lot of work. But for something that I want to be like solid and sturdy, I would want to use 3D printer for. Like, for example, I want to do a Mandalorian Rogue. I've always had this thought in my head where like the colors and the concept of it would be just so cool. But I need a 3D printer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do it. 100% do it. I've got 3 in my basement that are running right now because even though it's August, we're like I think like 5 or 6 weeks away from C2E2 and I'm already con crunching. I've got bloody knuckles right now because I just got done fixing one of the printers to get it going again.
Oh yeah.
But I can't stress it enough. It is so much fun. It is so much fun to do. And it does I mean you end up doing a lot of post production on those things. It'd be nice if it was like Star Trek, where you could just hit a button and be like Thor helmet, beep, and then boom, pops right there. But yeah, and the versatility of things you can do, I highly recommend. It's a rabbit hole. You're going to end up going down a rabbit hole for sure, but I definitely say it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
So you said you have some cosplay ideas out there. Some aren't confirmed, and I'm not even necessarily talking about that, but just in general, are there cosplays out there that you would love to do someday?
I'm looking to do a Star Wars cosplay. I have a lot of people saying that I really should do one, and I've always wanted to do one. Ever since I was younger, I want to say like maybe 10 years old, I wanted to dress up as Padme for Halloween, but I never got the chance to. I don't know why, to be honest, but I've never gotten the chance to dress up as her. She's a cosplay that I eventually want to do. It's a classic. It's been done so many times, but I just really love the character. But I definitely want to do like Ahsoka, some form of Jedi cosplay. It doesn't have to be like a character that's already like created. I could do my own thing. I do have a lightsaber, which is really cool. I'm really happy about that. But one of the cosplays that I was supposed to do but didn't end up doing was Wonder Woman because I had ordered the wrong size. I ordered the wrong size and I couldn't get like a exchange. I had to pay like almost $200 for a new one, which is how much it costed like originally.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, forget about that. So what I'm going to plan on doing with that is I have some EVA foam left. I'm going to try and make like the top part out of that and sort of form it in a way. So I'm going to see how that goes, but it's going to be a while before I really get to it. Other cosplays I want to do like some more X-Men stuff. I want to get into the boys because I see a lot of Starlight cosplays and I was like, oh, it's a pretty cool cosplay. Might give it a shot. So I'm going to start watching the boys and try and see like more characters I could do through that. But yeah, I'm trying to venture out a little bit of everything.
So you haven't watched the boys yet?
I have not. No, I did watch Stranger Things. It took me like, I don't know how many years to start watching it, but I'm finally on season 4, episode 3. I want to say 3 or 4. So I'm almost done and then almost ready for the second part that's coming out the end of summer. But yeah, I got Stranger Things checked off. Now the boys is next. I just can't like go back and forth from shows. I have to just sit and watch a show throughout.
Yeah, that if you're a fan of raunchy, gory humor / action, the show will blow your mind.
Yeah.
If you are one of those people who's a church mother and thinks that everything is risque and should be banned, you will hate it. It is such a good show. It is so phenomenal. I'm somebody, like I said, who loves gore, loves raunch. I have a very, very dirty sense of humor. And even then, there are times that show makes me wince. Like, ooh, yeah. Man, that's rough. But yeah, there could be some really cool characters, especially like gender bend. You could definitely gender bend some cool characters out of that. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah, and X-Men too. I remember a few years ago at a con, I saw a female who was doing Cyclops. And it was so well done. It was just like flawless, like to the point where you're like, did a movie studio make that? Yeah. What X-Men characters would you like to do? Because that's
speaking of gender bend, I actually want to do a gender bend Gambit. I've been told to do that, and I think the costume I've seen like a few people do it, and they look great. And I was like, I gotta try this out. So definitely a gender bent Gambit I want to do. I've seen like Emma Frost, Psylocke. There's like a small part of me that wants to do Nightcrawler.
Oh.
it's just a matter of, do I want to really paint myself blue? But that's also going for Mystique as well. Mystique would be a really cool character to do. So I just got to put in the effort and time to just paint myself blue if I want to do those characters. I'm also looking into getting colored contacts because that'll make the characters feel more real and complete. But I tried to go through that last year getting them, and they were like, you need a prescription. And I was like, I don't wear glasses. So I have to go through a doctor now.
Really?
It's such a process. That's why it took me so long to get them.
Wow. Even you can't just, and I've never done this before, you can't just go on Amazon and just like buy colored contacts?
I mean, you can. It's riskier to go through like companies that don't do like prescription checks. But there's actually one company in mind that I think someone told me you don't need one. So I have to go back into it, look into them and do that. I just I'm like, I don't want to mess up my eyes. Right. But I also don't want to go through the process of paying a doctor just to tell me I don't need glasses. You know, I already knew that.
Yeah, definitely. Gosh. Yeah. Cause if you did, I mean, if you did Nightcrawler and you did the yellow contacts, I mean, talk about making it pop. Like that was just like, whoa, that's taking your cosplay to a whole nother, and all it is two thin little pieces of plastic. But yeah, that would for sure do it. Cool. And I haven't gotten to see it yet. I just today started following you on Twitch. So I'm excited to join in on a Twitch stream sometime. What is it that you enjoy about Twitch streaming?
I love playing games. I've always have. I played like all the Lego games. They're my favorite. But I also love interacting with people on my stream. I'm trying to add more interactive stuff that they can do as well, because I want to kind of go into Twitch streaming full time. But you got to amp up your Twitch streams a bit more. So I actually just bought a green screen too. It's coming in tomorrow. Nice. But I love playing games and interacting with people. And I've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. I wasn't a Fortnite kind of person before last year. But one of my friends got me into it. And now we usually play like almost every night. But I started playing the Guardians game and I really enjoy it. I'm thinking of streaming that one. I don't know, tonight or maybe like next week. I have to re-download it because I just did like a whole clean on my computer recently. I'm really happy Spider-Man's coming to PC because I'm definitely streaming that in my Black Cat cosplay. It's only right. Right. It's only right that I do that. But I just really love the atmosphere of Twitch streaming. You can do whatever you want as well, while also like having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Guardians of the game. I haven't played that. What kind of game is that?
It's almost like Spider-Man. I think it's almost like on the same level of it. I just recently started playing it. Then I had to delete it. I only got through like the beginning part. But it's really cool. The music that they have in it is fantastic. The Guardians, they have great 80s music and stuff. They have great music in the game too. I think I heard the storyline is really good. One of my friends finished it in like a week. He like wouldn't stop playing it, but he said it's a really good game. He said the story is better than the Guardians movies. I was like, really?
Whoa.
He's like, yeah.
That's a claim to make. Yeah, for sure. Is it like an MMORPG? Is it a shooter? How does it play?
I actually don't even know what it actually plays as. I didn't really read the whole description on it. I kind of just pressed play. But I want to say it's like on the same level as the Spider-Man game.
Okay, cool.
It just doesn't have. I don't know if it has like a. I didn't get far in the game yet. I don't know if it has like that open world kind of thing where you can do like quests and stuff. I want to say it does, but I haven't like gotten fully into the game yet. I've only done like the first 10 minutes, I want to say. And then I had to delete it.
Right. What else do you like to play?
Lego games. I'm a sucker for Lego games. My favorite one is Lego Superheroes, Lego Marvel Superheroes. I like that one more than the second one. I got that one on my Switch, and I got the first one. I started playing it on my brother's PS4. I enjoy that one more just because it is same as like the Avengers ones and the same as like the other ones. The Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is like a bit different, and I was like trying to get a grip onto it, but it wasn't really working out. Like there's still some stuff that I have to do that I have no idea how to complete to get to 100%. So I definitely like the first one more. I'm trying to do more games, like play more games. Long time ago, I played Halo. Long time ago. That was fun to play. Trying to see, like, I'm trying to look on my desktop what games that I have. GTA. I actually played GTA 5 only because my friends got me into it. My friends have a great influence on me. But we usually just play it just to do like missions or just to run into people, shoot each other, all that.
That's good stuff. I remember it was so funny when God, I don't even remember how long ago it was when the very first Lego Star Wars game came out.
Oh my God. I actually didn't finish that game.
The funny thing is, though, when it came out, it was kind of initially regarded as somewhat of a joke, really? by hardcore gamers, those idiots. Because, back then it was Halo, it was Call of Duty, it was, and I remember when it came out and I went into GameStop to buy it, and the guy behind the counter was almost snickering at me over. He's like, dude, you're buying Lego Star Wars. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, it looks awesome. Like, I don't care. And now it's like, you look at all the Lego games and how much probably $1 billion the company has made off of those things. They're so much fun to play. I mean, a kid can sit down and play it, or a full grown adult could sit down and play it for hours and have a ton of fun with it. Yeah, definitely.
I haven't finished the newer game that came out. I remember playing the older game growing up. I loved that game so much. I was so excited when they said it was coming back, but I haven't finished it. I just realized that. You just reminded me.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember playing that, and at the time, my oldest son, I want to say he might have been like 6 or 7, somewhere in there. And I think that was like the first game that like latched him in to the point where like he was like 7 years old, and all of a sudden I'd like hear this noise at like 1 a.m. and I have to go in his bedroom, and he's sitting up in bed playing Lego Star Wars. I'm like, dude, like you're at school in the morning, man. Come on. That's really cool. How so moving over to then the other side, how's TikTok been to you?
TikTok, I am actually like really happy what's going with it right now. I reached 100K followers a few months ago, I think, and I'm already at 111,000, so that's awesome. I just love the response that my videos are getting. It makes me thrive to do more stuff, to do bigger things. I know a little bit of video editing. I tried to get into YouTube a bit, but overall, I just am not good at coming up with content for YouTube. Short stuff like TikTok, that's easier. But I know a little bit of editing. I studied film, so I want to get back into it more and put that more into my videos. I'm looking to do like more sponsorships with other companies, trying to get that kind of level. I would love to go to a Marvel premiere one day. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I know I see people go and I'm like, you are the luckiest person right now. But I love making content. I love getting the reactions that I do, and it just makes me do more and more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Marvel premieres 100%. I don't know if you know Brittany, Captain Britain, on Instagram. I was just talking to her this morning, and she's going to the Love and Thunder premiere tonight. And
really?
Yeah, just like you would imagine, she's con crunching. Like right now, she's like, I'm at work. It's tonight. I'm tired. My costume's not done. I don't know if you know Kiara from Kiara's workshop. She's over at her place right now. She flew out there. So they're like, they're all stressed out about getting this done in time to go to the premiere. And I'm like, I'd just be happy going to the premiere. Like that would in and of itself, just to get invited would be exciting. I'm not terribly too far behind you on followers on TikTok. I think I'm up to 74. Not 74,000, 74. But that's purely because of the fact I put like no effort into it. Like I made one video that for me I felt like went viral because like 1,100 people saw it, and I'm like, oh my God. I keep meaning to branch out into that more, primarily take segments from this show and put them into TikToks. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's kind of one of those, like, I just last weekend I had to be on a video call while somebody was explaining Discord to me, like, because we're setting up a new Discord. For anybody listening, we're going to have a Discord, not necessarily for the podcast, but it's like an overall, like, just nerd community Discord. Yeah, the further along you get in life, the more you need to have these things explained to you by somebody significantly younger than you, because you're like, what?
Oh,
yeah.
It's crazy, like how big, like there are people that are 16 that are crazy huge on TikTok. And I'm like, how did you get like that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm jealous. I'm like, how many years older than you? I'm jealous.
Right. Well, and sometimes you try really, really hard not to be the cranky old curmudgeon. But when I like look on a video on TikTok and it's just a car driving down a street and that's all it is. It's 4 seconds long. It's really crappy quality. Why does it have 1.4 million likes? Like, what the hell is happening here?
I know. I was so excited to get like some of my videos to at least 1 million views. Like, I go crazy if a video gets at least 100,000 views, but I know a lot of people do like the creator funds, and I tried that out for a bit, but that was like early on. It wasn't really worth it for me. Maybe it is now that I have over 100,000 followers, so I might get back into it. But I know a lot of people benefit from that, which is great. But yeah, getting videos to that level of view or like, it's a lot of work. Sometimes put a lot of work into a video and it makes like 10,000 views. It's like, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember a few years ago, my daughter was really into these videos on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen these, because I think there have been a ton of copycats, but all it is this woman would go buy toys, and then her whole YouTube videos were her just taking them out of the packaging. Like,
really?
you never saw her face. It would just be like the box of like this toy would get set down, and then you just see her hands like opening up and taking everything out. And my daughter was obsessed with them. And then I remember reading an article, I want to say on like Newsweek or something, that lady who did those was like the highest grossing YouTuber that year, made $4.5 million. And all she was doing was like going and buying like a Play-Doh set and would just like take it out. I mean, it had decent quality. Like, she had just like an all white backdrop and an all white table. Everything looked really clean. And then she'd have some music to it. She didn't even really talk. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what it takes to make that much money. Yeah, sometimes I don't understand it, but on the flip side, I don't know anybody out there who's listening was this way. But I was one of those people who several months ago downloaded TikTok purely as a joke. And then I'd find myself flipping at 3 a.m., just like laughing my rear end, just like, oh my God, that's a good one. And now my wife's like, because I just sit there and text them to her all the time. Like, oh, you got to see this one. Oh, you got to see this one. Oh, you got to see this one. And yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm loving the algorithm. I love like how the algorithm gets to the point where it's like, I'm down to the stuff I want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to that video you saw on YouTube, it makes me think of like ASMR videos. Like, was it ASMR? Because those go crazy big.
Yeah. I think that was before ASMR was really a big thing. Mm-hmm. But in a lot of ways, I mean, it could very, I don't know if she was intentionally going for that, but it 100% could have been. My wife is into those ASMR videos. She watches them to go to bed, where it'll be like makeup tutorials and stuff like that. For me, it's nails on a chalkboard, mainly because I can't stand the sound of somebody whispering. And so help me God, if I was sleeping and somebody was whispering, I would just like get up and throw the TV out the window. That's just, I can't stand it, but she loves it. But yeah, I could see that. I'll have to go back and look now.
Yeah, it's probably like maybe the very beginning of ASMR or pre-ASMR. Those videos, I can imagine, went crazy viral. Mm-hmm. They still do.
Yeah.
I see them on TikTok all the time. I liked maybe one ASMR video, and now I see like a bunch of ASMR lives on my scroll through TikTok. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just one video.
Right. It's funny. The algorithm works that way, because I'll get mad at myself for liking a video, because I'm like, now they're going to be chucking a bunch of that in my feed, and I just wanted to like that one. Yeah. And I have to like consciously make sure that I pronounce it correctly, because I spent so long calling it like ASMR like just to be a smart ass that I have to like make sure I have to like ASMR. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, we're getting up to the clock here. But I want to open it up to you. Where all can people find you at?
Right now, you can find me on TikTok at Stefania Sassano, on Twitter as well, same handle. Instagram, it's a little different. It's Stefania_Sassano. That little difference makes a big deal, right? And on Twitch, I'm on Steph Cosplays. I will be streaming tonight. Hopefully, it's Thursday, right?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Try and get a stream in. But I will be streaming tonight. So, yeah. You can find me on those platforms. YouTube, I'm trying to get a little bit more into. I'm trying. We'll see. I might do like con vlogs. So maybe that's where I'll start.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see for sure. Well, hey, once again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast. For those of us who are following you, we will keep following you. And anybody out there who's thinking about following, I definitely say go do it. But yeah, we'll let you go and hope we get to talk to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is such a great time.
You bet.
I love doing podcasts, like I said.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the episode with Stefania. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun talking. I want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, sharing, even the DMing, sending me messages. I love all of it so much. And I just want to say I love all of you. I hope you take care of each other, and we'll talk to you next time.